The story of Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell is one of fanatic beliefs leading to a string of chilling murders. This saga intertwines extreme religious convictions with horrific acts, including the murders of Lori's two innocent children, Tylee Ryan and J.J. Vallow, and her former spouse, Charles Vallow, as well as attempted assassination, a cover-up, and a fanatic doomsday prophecy that would redefine how we view religious extremism. Their story not only captivates, but also horrifies, as it unfolds into a series of events that seem almost too sinister to be true. This is the case of the Vallow-Daybell murders. In 2018, Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell were both deeply involved in their religious communities, specifically the Church of the Latter-day Saints, more popularly known as Mormonism. After the two had met at a LDS event, Chad had begun a small inner circle comprised of himself, Lori Ryan Vallow, Lori's niece Melanie, a good friend Melanie Gibb, and Lori's brother Alex Cox. The cult was based around beliefs Chad had believed he'd received from God in the form of visions and dreams many times in the past, which prior to the cult's establishment had spawned a small self-published book series detailing his radical and uncanny fringe views that differed heavily from the church. As time passed, both Lori and Chad's respective spouses at the time, Charles Vallow and Tamara Daybell respectively, both grew concerned over their spouses' behaviors. Their beliefs began to skew towards the extreme, focusing heavily on apocalyptic prophecies that predicted the end of the world specifically in the middle of July of 2020. Lori, influenced by these beliefs, saw herself as this exalted goddess figure who'd lived over 50 past lives and had interacted with Chad's previous incarnations as well, linking them together as saintly, if not both godlike figures, destined to play a significant role in these end times as the leaders of Christ's chosen 144,000 people after mankind had fallen. The couple's descent into fanaticism became increasingly dangerous as they started to view those around them through the lens of their distorted beliefs. They categorized people as light or dark and believed that dark individuals were possessed by evil spirits, specifically calling many of them, including Charles Vallow and Lori's children, zombies. This belief system justified in their minds the need to rid their lives of these dark influences, at first working with the children to try and incorporate them into their cult, but ultimately resided to ridding themselves of both Tylee Ryan and J.J. Vallow, as well as Tamara Daybell. Sadly, in July of 2019, Charles Vallow had made it clear that Lori was entirely enraptured with the sick world Chad Daybell had created, and threatened to kill him if he got in the way of her mission as an exalted goddess of the Second Coming. After speaking with an attorney and taking multiple steps to try and keep himself and Lori's children safe, he would go to Lori's house, concernedly looking for J.J. Vallow. An altercation ensued with Lori's brother Alex Cox, who later shot and killed Charles Vallow after Vallow struck him with a bat in attempting to retrieve his son and confront Lori about her outrageous behavior. Neither Lori and Chad's followers, Alex Cox or Lori, felt bad about his death, as they believed they had killed a zombie, and police would chalk the incident up to a domestic dispute gone wrong. However, in August 2019, things took another shocking turn. Tammy Daybell, Chad's now estranged wife, was attacked with a firearm in her driveway by an unknown assailant in a Jeep whose weapon jammed, and Tammy had mistaken for a paintball gun. 10 days later, Tammy would be found dead in her home, apparently of natural causes. Just weeks later in September, Tylee and JJ went missing under increasingly suspicious circumstances after Chad and Lori had gotten married in the wake of Tammy's funeral, and the couple had moved to Idaho from Arizona after months of no sign from either the children, a large collection of insurance money from the Daybells, and both moving into a rental home in Hawaii. Investigators now had enough suspicion to dig deeper into the case. What they found was beyond shocking. After failing to show substantial evidence that the children were alive and in safe condition, the police both exhumed Tammy Daybell's grave and investigated Chad's home in Idaho, where both Tylee and JJ's bodies were discovered buried in Chad's backyard, confirming the worst fears about their fate. Investigations revealed a complex web of deceit, including attempts to mislead law enforcement about the whereabouts of the children, and the fact that Tammy had not died of natural causes, but in fact asphyxiated. Furthermore, it was found that there was an attempted but failed hit on the life of another man, the estranged husband of Lori's niece Melanie, Brandon Boudreau, from the same masked figure in a Jeep that had attacked Tammy. The culprit, Lori's brother, Alex Cox, who had committed the attempted assassinations in a Jeep owned by none other than Charles Vallow. Fortunately, Cox had also already passed away prior to the arrest and investigation of the Daybells, having died from a blood clot. By the time law enforcement had completed their investigation, Lori and Chad were both extradited back to Idaho and charged with multiple counts of conspiracy to commit murder, first-degree murder, and child neglect. The trials brought to light the extent of their delusions and the brutal nature of their actions. Lori was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, while Chad's trial revealed further unsettling details about their plans and the cold calculation behind their actions, with suspicions that the Daybells weren't finished in their delusional plot to prepare themselves for their end times, but additionally, that their motive may primarily have been to collect insurance money from the deaths in their respective families, due in every part to the absolute chaos they had caused. To this day, both Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell reside in maximum security prison, serving out life sentences for their crimes, however, at the cost of the lives of not one, but many innocent civilians, including her children, who were perhaps the highest cost of their egregious delusions of grandeur. If you enjoyed this video, kindly leave a like and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.